Welcome to Kayla's beautiful, fantastic kitchen. Thank you for subscribing. Keep sharing. You're making a great launch to our kitchen. We would like to give our first kitchen sizzle to the Avid classes at Avon Park Middle School in Florida. They have an amazing teacher who invited me to do a virtual presentation for Career Day. It was so much fun to talk about cooking, the kitchen channel, and goals for the future. Avon Park, you sizzle in Kayla's beautiful, fantastic kitchen. Today, we will continue our sourdough series with basics number 3. Let's go! So after you have removed half of your sourdough starter, we're going to add in about 2 cups of flour. I have a 4-cup starter, so that's why I'm adding in 2 cups. For example, if you have a 1-cup starter, you're going to add in 1 cup of flour. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in 1 1/2 cups of water. A bit of a mess with the flour. And now we're going to give it a stir. I like to use a whisk because it mixes it better, or you can also use a spoon. Now we're going to go ahead and take a spatula and scrape down the sides. This is an essential step, so that way if there's any flour that might have gotten caught to the sides, you are able to scrape it up in this step and mix it in. And it also saves you lots of time from having to scrub when it comes time to clean your container. Okay, now we got to let this rise for 4 to 12 hours. My starter needs less water because it is in a humid space. So therefore the humidity waters it down and requires more flour than water. The ratio of flour to water depends on where you live, what seasons you're in right now, the temperature and humidity it's being kept at, and the maturity of your starter. So if you want your starter to be the consistency of a thick pancake batter, if it's thicker than a pancake batter, use more water. If it's thinner than a pancake batter, use more flour. For both, only start with tablespoons at a time increments. Typically, if I'm going to be storing my starter in the fridge, I will transfer that starter that I'm saving into a different little container and then wash my main container. But if I'm not going to be storing mine in the fridge, I will wash mine monthly and do a daily cleaning of the rubber seal that I have around my jar. Sourdough discard is a sourdough starter that must be discarded before feeding it again. In order to feed your starter, you must take out some in order to add more flour and water in it. For example, I have a 4-cup starter. I had to take out 2 cups of starter in order to add in 2 more cups of flour and 1.5 cups of water. So we're going to pretend like it's the next day, and now it's time to feed the starter again. So my favorite way, if you're not going to be using the sourdough discard anymore, is to just throw it out. And I'm going to take 2 grocery store bags and 3 sheets of paper towel and put it in here like this. And then you take your sourdough discard, you put it in here, and then you just tie it up and throw it away. This prevents any spillage or anything like that that's going to spill in your garbage can, so that way it just eliminates the mess in its entirety. Now this is the exciting part. Yes, you can still use it for both yeast required and non-yeasted foods. For recipes that require a leavener, you can still use it too. All that it would require is a commercial yeast such as active dry or instant as a leavening agent, and then the starter acts as more for the flavor and the health benefits, but does not contribute any leavening agents in the food that's being made. Great question. In our next series, it's going to be all about the things that you can do with the discard. Some things that we'll make are sourdough banana bread, sourdough cornbread, sourdough discard sandwich bread, and sourdough pretzels. There's just so many different things that you can make with sourdough. Honestly, if you're looking at trying to use your discard that you have, just look up a recipe for something that you're interested in making, and I can almost guarantee you that you can sourdoughify it. It's time for the verse of the day. Proverbs 13:4 says, "The soul of a lazy man desires and has nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made rich." This proverb depicts the consequences of those who will never work hard to achieve something. So let us work hard for what we want and need. But like the proverb says, the diligent are the ones who will be rewarded. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Kayla's Beautiful, Fantastic Kitchen. Please hit the subscribe and notification bell down below to join the movement of bringing families back to the table, one recipe at a time. Bye!